I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Michigan. The Mark Nelson and Ray Hillhouse have the front row. Mark the Man Dan Tuma and Gerald Thanos Poole on the second row. Troy Downing and Rick Sargent are on the third row. Aaron Mason and Wild Bill Percy on the fourth row. Michael Dow and DJ the Iceman Kenner round out the top 10. David Gorman starting in 11th next to Donald Double D Durance in 12th. And Kyle L. will not be racing tonight. All the drivers getting gridded up. The 2-mile D-shaped oval with the sister track Auto Club in California. Unfortunately, Auto Club is no more in its previous configuration, but thanks to iRacing, we'll get to race on it forever. Michigan is the smoother of the two tracks, but still extremely tough on the tires. Tire and fuel strategy will be huge tonight. Here we go. Everybody rolls out on track behind the pace car. Between the top two in points, Mark Nelson and Mark Dan Tuma, they have 4 of the 11 wins this season. AJ Gatsu won last week, has 3 wins, but is not here tonight. Kyle Holden has 2 wins, also not here. And Mike Smith has a win, is also not here. Pace car leads them through 3 and 4. Out of turn 4, pace car heads to pit road. 90 laps, competition caution at lap 30. Here we go into the zone. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away at Michigan. Look like Mark and Ray got a great launch, a little slow back behind them. But everybody coming up to speed quickly. Wild Bill, the birthday boy, is on the attack already. Bill having a little problem with connection, trying to get everything working good on his new setup. But is definitely not slowing him down as Troy Downing and Gerald Poole battle it out. The Mark Nelson leads lap number 1. Ray Hillhouse in second, Dan Tuma in third. Gerald Poole holding on to fourth, Troy Downing in fifth. Troy got a late start to the season, has only done 5 races, but has been marching up the points as Michael Dow has had a problem back behind. No caution yet. Gerald Poole has the fastest lap. Let's see what happened with Michael. Oh! Dow got a hard hit. Looks like Bill may have got the wall up ahead. Coming out of turn 4 down the front straightaway, everybody inches apart, off into 1 and 2. Now up high, out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Donald Durant comes up, just gets into his quarter panel, gets him sideways, and sends him to the wall. Michael Dow is repaired, back out on track. He is going to need that competition caution to get him back onto the lead lap. And he is going to need to keep the car. Wait a minute. Michael Dow is coming back down pit road. A heartbreaking night for Michael. Did he get a penalty? Michael Dow, as we mentioned, up a bunch of spots, now sits 15th in points and is fighting his way into playoff contention. Mark Nelson, Ray Hill has the top 2. Thanos now up into 3rd. Dan Tuma into 4th. Troy Downing in 5th. Rick Surgeon in 6th, but the man on the move, DJ the Iceman Kenner, up to 7th. Wild Bill, the birthday boy, right behind in 8th. David Garman now in 9th. Aaron Mason in 10th. Double D currently in 11th. And Michael Dow is back on pit road. Dow currently in 12th. Mark Dantuma has moved up into 3rd, sets his sights on Hillhouse. Garmy trying to make up some ground here right behind Wild Bill. The Iceman now into 6th place, closing in on Rick Surgeon. Dantuma shoots to the bottom underneath Hillhouse. Doesn't quite have the run yet. Since Dantuma switched to the... Oh! Caution is out for the first time on lap 8. Wild Bill involved. There's Bill coming out of turn 2. Looks like he just pulled down and towed it to pit road. Looks like it might have been a connection problem. Surprised that the caution came out due to that. That will pull the pack back together again. And Gerald Poole is out. It looks like Thanos lost connection as well. Gerald Poole, and now does look like Bill Percy is out of the race. This should get Michael Dow one of his laps back here early. There he goes, on around to get one of his laps back. Hey, good evening, Kevin. So Wild Bill and Gerald Poole out early due to connection problems. Does not appear to be a global issue at the moment. Not very surprised to see Gerald having a problem. Bill mentioned he was having some problems earlier. Oh, Gerald Poole lost electricity. As they stack back up for the restart, Gerald Poole came in tonight third in points. This is gonna hurt. All the drivers stacked back up, 9 on the lead lap. Michael Dow in 10th, now just 2 laps down. He'll get another one back at the caution at lap 30. Mark Nelson in control of the restart. Pace car is in. The Mark Nelson in control. Into the zone. Green flag back in the air. Mark gets a perfect launch, is away. Hillhouse tried to get low, but Dan Tuma already there. DJ Kenner was on the move early on, but Gourmets now back in the picture. The Iceman in 6th, Gorman in 7th, Rick Sargent just ahead has 5th. Troy Downing now up into 4th place. Troy having a great run here tonight. This is only Troy's 2nd start with BRR as we have a battle for the lead. Hillhouse goes by on the high side. Ray Hillhouse has the run and the advantage. Out of turn 4, he clears. Hillhouse leads for the first time tonight. David Gorman back in 6th, has the fastest lap so far. Mark Dantuma currently holding on to 3rd place, but Rick Sargent now looks low. Rick has started to string together a bunch of great finishes here lately. It has kept him moving up the points as well. Rick now up to 6th in points, just 5 points behind Aaron Mason. Aaron currently running back in 8th, has got to gain some ground here. David Gorman now up 6 spots into 5th. But Troy, oh, DJ's in the wall. DJ hard hit to the outside wall. See if we can see. There's DJ coming through 3 and 4. The back end just steps out. He almost saves it and slams it into the safer barrier. A hard hit for the Iceman, but don't count him out just yet. Ray Hillhouse still out front, followed by Mark Nelson, Mark Dantuma, Rick Sargent, and David Gorman. The Iceman has slipped back into 9th, trying to stay in Michael Dow's draft until the comp caution in 11 laps. Rick Sargent, David Gorman, and Troy Downing battling it out, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Rick settles in at 4th, trying to make a run on Dantuma. Downing gets a big run out of 4, shoots underneath Gourmet. Rick Sargent still trying to close back up on Dantuma, but now Troy Downing on the move. 21 laps in, Gerald Poole looks like he will come back out. But noticing with this car, the tire fall off is not what we have seen in previous generations' cars. Ray Hillhouse, the current leader, his fastest lap. Whoa! Hillhouse, hard! Hit into the pit road. Caution! Caution is out on lap 21. What in the world just happened? He drifts up a little in 3 and 4. Same thing that happened to the Iceman. Hard hit. You see the engine just lets go. Man, almost got our cameraman. Thankfully, everybody gets by. And everybody is headed to pit road. Ray Hillhouse did have to tow. He'll have to get the car fixed and hopefully get back out. Man, he took one heck of a lick. And the race off is won by Mark Nelson. Dan Tuma coming out in second. Troy comes out third. And this will be the competition caution. The First Lady of BRR is back in race control tonight. Nicole, that's what she said. Creasel keeping everybody in line. Gerald Poole will get one of his laps back here. He's still behind the pace car. Michael Dow is rolling off pit road. Looks like he has already gotten one of his laps back. This will leave him just one lap down. Lights go out on the pace car. Gerald waved by. And they stack back up for the restart. Since this track has a tendency to have long green flag runs, this would probably be a great opportunity to get a little bit loud here. So once the green flag drops, I'll stop talking. You guys crank up the volume and listen to all that horsepower. Through 3 and 4, the pace car about to drop in. We're about to crank it up. Here we go. Pace car is in. Get ready. lead. Crank it up, everybody. All right, here they go. Hey, good evening, Kevin Gerard. Mark Dantuma versus Mark Nelson for the lead. Troy Downing, Rick Surgeon, David Gorman right behind your top five. Aaron Mason in 6th, Donald Durant 7th, and the Iceman in 8th. Ray Hillhouse is back out on track in 9th, Michael Dow in 10th. The battle between these two is setting Troy Downing up perfectly. And whoa, they are banging doors down the front straightaway. Nelson getting everything he can. All the side drafts, everything they can do to gain an advantage. Dantuma rockets into 3 and 4. And Mark Dantuma will take the lead for the first time tonight. Mark Nelson still lurking in 2nd. Troy Downing in 3rd. Rick Surgeon in 4th. Gourmets in 5th. Donald Double D Durant's now up into 6th. Aaron Mason in 7th has the Iceman all over his bumper in 8th. Hillhouse back in 9th. Hillhouse in 9th, not on the lead lap, just set the fastest lap. Ray 1 lap down, you know he is hoping for a caution. Hey, good evening, Jeffrey. I think Mark Dantuma is using Logano's engine right now. He finally got out of a Ford, switched to a Chevy, and has won 3 races so far. Dantuma out front, Mark Nelson in 2nd, Troy Downing in 3rd, Rick Surgeon in 4th, Garmin back in 5th, Hillhouse trying to fight his way back to the lead lap, getting his lap back the old-fashioned way. After that horrific crash a few moments ago. Ray trying to make that comeback. Let's take a lap with him around the 2-mile D-shaped oval at Michigan. Down the front straightaway across the start-finish line. Down into turn 1, he looks underneath Rick. Gets a big run. Whoa! Lets it drift up out of turn 2. Following Troy Downing now into 3 and 4. And out of turn 4, back down the front straightaway. Hillhouse did that lap in 39.34 seconds. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTube. We have a lot of great shorts coming out on YouTube, and we'll have shorts from this morning's race, tonight's race, the race we're broadcasting later tonight for the SMR Gen 4 Cup Series, and a whole lot more coming out this week, including a lot of trucking shorts courtesy of the Unicorn and Sketch. Gerald Poole has gone to pit road. He is in for 4 tires and fuel. Remember, he is 12 laps down due to the loss of power. Rick Surgeon now holding on to 3rd. Garmy now up into 4th. Garmin started in 11th. He is the biggest mover of the moment. But DJ Kenner, the Iceman, is starting to work his way forward. Now up into 6th. Donald Durant, who started in 12th, now up into 8th. And closing the gap on 7th place, Aaron Mason. Durant's came in tonight 4th in points. Aaron Mason in 5th. So these two, Mason has to try and keep Durant's in his rear view mirror. Garmin looks to the high side on Rick. Garmy now to 3rd. Oh, and a close call. A little bit of a close call back behind with Troy Downing. As Troy now has a run on the high side of Rick as well. Garmin now up 8 spots into 3rd. Rick Sargent has dropped to 5th. Mark Dantuma still has the lead, but only a few tenths of a second ahead of the Mark Nelson. And they both have to worry. Garmy just over half a second behind. And Garmin is closing. The drivers are also closing in to their fuel window. They are looking at 41 to 44 laps on a tank of fuel. Everybody pitted on lap 22 for the competition caution. Everybody will be within the fuel window in about 5 laps, but most of these drivers will push to at least lap 60. David Garman has caught up as Mark Nelson looks low. He wants the lead back. Yeah, Gerald, that was a rough night, buddy. Now we've got a 3-car battle for the lead. Dan Tuma, Nelson, Garman. Dan Tuma holds on to the lead for the moment. Nelson still trying to look underneath, and Garman gets a huge run out of turn 2. He is not pushing the issue at the moment. But man, Mark Nelson, Mark Dan Tuma, these two battling, they have been battling inches, sometimes millimeters apart. Looking down from the blimp cam, and out of turn 2, you see they just keep getting closer and closer. Just shy of the halfway point, these guys are racing like it's the last lap. Yeah, Gerald, that makes sense. We have seen that high line be really fast on corner exit. And you don't have to turn the wheel as much, so easier on the tires as well. Troy Downing is starting to close in on the top 3 as Garman has a run up top on Mark Nelson. Garman to second place. Can he carry the run and the momentum into 1 and 2 to take the lead? Dan Tuma down low. Garman up top, but he does not have it. Troy Downing closing in on the top 3. That is a crazy amount, Gerald. Garman way up top, and Mark Nelson shoots it to the bottom. Couldn't complete the pass out of turn 2, slides back in, and now Troy Downing is back in the mix. Meanwhile, Mark Dan Tuma, not battling, started to inch away, got out to a half-second lead, but as soon as they got single file behind, they started closing back in. Kevin, you're absolutely right. David Gorman, the dirt racer, will be right on that top line. Most of the night, he'll wear it out. He could even hang that right rear inches off the wall. Oh, maybe a little too close. I think he got the wall in 1 and 2. Maybe he just got exceedingly close to it. Wow. Mark Nelson does have a run on the bottom. And Mark Nelson back to second. Tis just a scratch, indeed. It doesn't slow him down. Garmy goes right back up to the wall. Troy Downing starting to slip back just a little bit, but ninth place, Hillhouse right there with him, giving him a push. DJ Kenner, Rick Sargent back in 5th and 6th. They are starting to close in on the cars ahead. Meanwhile, Dan Tuma starting to pull out. He has a 1 second lead over Mark Nelson. DJ just 1.1 second back and closing rapidly. And oh, DJ was way loose through 3 and 4. We have seen that a lot here tonight. Once the tires get wore in, that right rear just seems to want to come around out of 4. That is something we normally see early on cold tires. Riding along with the Iceman through 3 and 4. Comes off turn 4. Okay, this time no back end stepping out on him. Mark Dantuma, meanwhile, his lead has gone to nothing. Mark Nelson, David Gorman have caught back up. Troy Downing now about 2 seconds back from that battle. Rick Sargent 1 1/4 seconds back, but the Iceman cometh. Donald Double D Durant is in for his pit stop. He can go from here. The top 3 now all single file. Will we see anybody else in this time? Does not look like it. As Mark Nelson looks low again for the lead. Mark has the nose ahead out into 3 and 4. Dan Tuma to the high side, though, will have the advantage out of 4. And it looked like Garmy got a little loose out of 4 as well. According to Thanos, if they are heating up, that right front, that right rear will start stepping out on them. These tires on this next-gen car act more like a road tire than they do an oval tire and are therefore more impacted by heat than by wear. The hotter they get, the less grip they have. But they wear completely differently, and whoa! Garmin may have kissed the wall again on corner entry. The top three all together, Troy Downing back and forth. The Iceman now in fifth. Last time by, DJ was the fastest car on track. Double D back out on fresh tires. Currently back in ninth, 11 seconds behind 8th place Hillhouse. DJ using that bottom line, has used it most of the night. Might be one has heated that right front up, causing him to get loose on exit. Aaron Mason is on pit road. Mark Nelson is in. Gorman is in. Whoa. Mark, man, he sent it to pit road. Hopefully he got it slowed down enough. Rick Sargent also in. Everybody can go the distance from here on fuel. Mark Dantuma out front. Troy Downing now in second. The Iceman in third. And Dantuma heads to pit road. Troy is coming in. The Iceman cometh. Mark Nelson rolls back out. Gorman on his way. Rick Sargent on his way out. Ray Hillhouse still out on track. Aaron Mason was the first to complete his pit stop. Donald Durant also completed his stop earlier than most of the field. Will he be able to make those tires work for him? Mark Dantuma, Troy Downing, DJ Kenner on their way out. Mark Nelson goes to the lead with 30 laps to go. Dantuma in second has 1 lap, fresher tires. Garmy back there in third, Troy in fourth. Troy is on his way in. Did he get a penalty? Ray Hillhouse still in fifth, is not pitted since lap 21. He is hoping for a caution here. Mark Nelson's lead, 9/10 of a second over Dan Tuma. Dan Tuma 1.7 seconds ahead of Gourmet. DJ now up into fourth, 4.5 seconds back. Rick Sargent in fifth, just 7/10 of a second back. Hillhouse back in sixth. He is off the pit cycle. Donald Durant and Aaron Mason battling for seventh. And Hillhouse is in. This will be his final stop. Michael Dow is back in as well. Mark Dantuma has started closing the gap back up on Mark Nelson. He is close right to a quarter of a second behind. David Garman in third, 2.8 seconds back. DJ in fourth, 4.1 seconds behind, with Rick Sargent right on his bumper. Aaron Mason has taken sixth place back from Durant for the moment. As Mark versus Mark continues up front. Garmin continuing to lose ground to the top two. DJ still gaining on the cars ahead. He is now 3.7 seconds behind Garmin and closing. "24 laps to go at Michigan. And Garmin is on pit road. Garmin is stopped on pit road. See if Garmin had a problem. Oh, Garmin in the wall, out of four. He sends it to pit road. And I think Garmin may have just called it a night. Mark Dantuma on the bottom, going back to the lead. Mark Nelson, though, not going to make it easy. Fights back on the high side. Oh! Dantuma just kisses the wall. Mark Nelson back underneath, inches apart. DJ Kenner has now moved up into third with Garmin out and is closing in on the top two. He is 6.4 seconds back. He is gaining rapidly on these two. The longer they battle, the closer he's going to get. Last time by, the Iceman 0.4 of a second faster. Kevin, that is a distinct possibility. It would not be the first time Gourmets VR went out on him. Garmin officially out of the race. Don't forget, folks, 9:30 Eastern, a lot of these same drivers, including the leader, Mark Dantuma, will be in the SMR Gen 4 Cup Series. We'll be live right here later tonight. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, Jones BS Racing is back. And at Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, the C12 Motorsports Street Stock Challenge continues. Thursday night, 7 Eastern, Home Motorsports will also be back. Their playoffs begin this week. DJ Kenner still 6.25 seconds back from the leaders, but continuing to gain ground every lap. Rick Sargent still sitting on DJ's bumper. Aaron Mason back in 5th. Durant's in 6th, about a second back. Troy Downing back in 7th. Michael Dow in 8th. And looks like David Garmin, Ray Hillhouse, Gerald Poole, and Wild Bill all out early. Bit of a heartbreak. We were hoping Wild Bill would pull off the win here tonight for his birthday. Down the back straightaway, Dantuma and Nelson nose to tail. Boy, if they were nose to nose, that'd be a problem. DJ Kenner just over 6 seconds behind in 3rd, Rick in 4th. Aaron Mason back in 5th, about 10 seconds back, holding Donald Durant about a second behind in 6th. Troy Downing, the last car on the lead lap, in 7th. Bit of a heartbreak for Downing. Looked like he may have had some problems on his pit stop. Lost a bunch of ground. He was extremely fast the first part of this race. 15 laps to go. DJ Kenner, the last 2 laps, has lost ground to the leaders. Leaders now 6.8 seconds ahead. Mark D'Antuma holding that quarter-second gap on Mark Nelson. Likely both drivers conserving fuel conserving what tires they can to the end. Hey, good evening, David Hampshire. The 2 marks continue to run out front and have pulled over 7 seconds ahead of the Iceman. Rick Sargent starting to lose ground on DJ. Aaron Mason in 5th has started to pull away from Donald Durant's in 6th. But a huge points night for several of these drivers. Mark Nelson came in tonight with the points lead over D'Antuma. Gerald Thanos Poole is going to lose a bunch of ground in the points, as is Donald Durant. Aaron Mason, though, came in tonight 5th in points. He's going to make up a lot of ground. Rick Sargent will also pick up quite a bit. Definitely going to be a big points shakeup after tonight. Ten laps to go at Michigan. DJ Kenner in 3rd, holding about 6.9 seconds back. He gains a little ground on the leaders, then he loses a little ground. Rick Sargent now 2.25 seconds back in 4th. Aaron Mason back in 5th has pulled ahead 3 seconds ahead of Double D in 6th. Troy Downing in 7th is fast, but after his pit stop issues, he is 13.25 seconds behind Double D. Mark D'Antuma came into tonight 3 wins already this season. 2nd in points. Mark Nelson came into tonight with 1 win this season, but the points lead. Whoa, Mark Nelson gets the wall. Which Mark will it be tonight? Mark Nelson, big run to the bottom. Is he going to clear out of 2? He does. That was close. DJ Kenner now 7.3 seconds back. Nobody else currently closing any gaps. It is just the battle for the lead at this point. Unless something dramatic happens, everybody is going to finish where they are except for the top two. Oh, Dan Tuma gets the wall this time. Both of these drivers have gotten the wall at least once on the exit of 4 in the last few laps, as they both push it to the limit to try and win here tonight. Mark Dantuma has 1 lap fresher tires than Mark Nelson. But Mark Nelson sat in the draft for several laps, conserving his tires. Has he saved enough to hold off Dantuma for 4 more laps? Dantuma right at half a second behind. And out of 4, Mark Nelson opened the gap. And is now almost 0.7 of a second. Mark Nelson pulls out to a 3/4 of a second lead. Is Dantuma's chance over? Out of turn 4, Dantuma closes back in. 2 to go. If Dantuma has anything left in that car, he's got to use it now. And I'd be willing to bet Mark Nelson is driving out the mirror right now. But Dantuma lost more ground as they come through 3 and 4. And here we go. White flag is in the air. One more time around for the Mark Nelson. He has a 1 second lead on Dantuma. He qualified on the pole, has been in the top 3 all night long. Back and forth with Mark Dantuma since the last pit stop, and out of turn 4, Mark Nelson will get his 2nd win of the season at Michigan. Mark Dantuma comes home in 2nd, and the Iceman finishes in 3rd. And normally we talk to our top 3, but the Iceman not available. So we will start with 2nd place, Mark Dantuma. Mark, you had quite a battle, and obviously that Chevy Power kept you out front for a while.
Yeah, but it ultimately let me down.
Just think, if it had been a Ford, it'd have been blown up on the side of the road like 30 laps ago at least.
Yeah, but then I could have, taken a shower and gotten something to eat and relaxed.
Well, you got time to do that before your next race, but man, that was quite a battle between you and Mark, and a great fight. Honestly, looked like you had it there for a while.
He's kind of the king of these 2-mile tracks, Michigan, California. He's tough to beat. I gave him everything I could, but he was just too much at the end.
Well, great job. Another great finish. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Mark Dantuma comes home in second, and the Mark Nelson pulls off the win at Michigan. Mark, your second win of the season.
Yeah, I've been throwing a lot of these races away from my own inability, so it feels good to finally get one again.
Well, you've may have been throwing a few away, but you had the points lead coming into tonight, and a fairly decent points lead at that, but tonight you just extended it even more.
Well, that's awesome, because obviously we get a little bit of a benefit by where we finished the regular season, and that's great. It is nice to win again, though. That's ultimately the goal, and it was not an easy fight. Dantuma gave me everything that I was worth, but I pulled it off.
I have to say, it looked like it was going to be an epic battle to the finish, but with about 3 to go, coming out of turn 4, you gapped him by about 0.2 of a second, made it 0.7. You went from half a second to about 3/4 of a second just through 3 and 4, and from there, you were just gone.
Yeah, that was my hope from the beginning, but the draft is so powerful on these that it's able to keep people in your wake, and on newer tires, as I've told you, I'm just not that strong on newer tires. I'm just a little bit too cautious, but if I can just get a nice long green flag run, I'm good. And the issue with it was that the cars were just so different, whether you were in first or in second place. It was like night and day. So once I got clean air, it was good.
Well, man, congratulations. Great job and a great season so far, bud.
Thanks, Doug.
Mark Nelson gets the win, but folks, don't forget, 9:30 Eastern tonight. That is just about 45 minutes from now. We will be back with SMR Gen 4 Cup Racing. You guys definitely want to tune in for that. I believe they are at Phoenix tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of the BRR drivers will be there. We will see you then. Have a great night, everybody.